All right, so this presentation is about our Iceland Hot Springs and Mindfulness tour that we have been offering now for 2 years. This will be our third session, March 14 to 20. And we'll go over, well, I had a chance to introduce a little bit about what Green Adventures is, but Iceland is our favorite destination. But we also go to many other places, and a lot of these tours started off as adventure-based trips and eventually evolved into other types of experiences that are educational, nature-based, and give you some sort of challenge, where you can get also in a supportive group of women. And for example, this Iceland tour, like we would, for us, I say our challenge is that we allow ourselves some self-care, and then also that if you're up for it, you can go for a dip in the Arctic Ocean. So our agenda tonight are the introductions. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the people you meet on this tour, because that's what really sets us apart, is that it's not just there are tours out there that are called women's wellness retreats, and they're really just sightseeing with some meditation or light yoga, or just another type of yoga retreat, for example. And Inga has gotten with her network and have brought in friends that are wellness professionals who are going to help facilitate this program. We're going to talk a little bit about what we love, and we'll do the tour overview. We'll talk about logistics. I know one of the questions was like, what do I pack? How do I pack for something like this? How do I get there? And then we'll answer your questions. So here are some introductions. You have already had a chance to meet Inga and myself. I have to say that we've become a pretty good dynamic duo, and it shows in the way that we facilitate tours. It's so much fun, and that fun resonates, I think, to participants. And we really love sharing these experiences. I remember when Inga finally wrote the program and sent it to me, and then I wrote the program and put it together, and I wrote her back, and I was like, Inga, this is so amazing. I'm very excited about this. And so now we have these tangible experiences that are beautiful and help people and connect people from all walks of life. Inga, do you want to share anything else about that?
Do you want me to talk about all the professionals that we have in there?
Sure, yeah. Tell us about your friends here.
Yeah, so Svava Brooks, she is an amazing woman. Actually, me and Svava, we are long-time childhood friends from 10 years of age. And we have actually walked through life and done a lot of healing through our lifetime. And Svava is now a full-time tree practitioner and a fascia therapist and a healer for people with trauma. And we start with Svava on our first morning, and we kind of sat with her the boundaries, and we do some exercise with her, both tree and block therapy. And so, yeah, it's the first morning is all with Svava. And then one of our professionals that we meet also is Sólveig. She's in the north of the island. She's also an amazing woman. She is a bowen specialist. The bowen is all about like fascia release work and pressure points, working with your energy and pressure points. And but she's also an amazing sound healer. She has a yurt in the north. She does sound bathing for us, and I always have this amazing strange experience when I go to her yurt. I get all sorts of things out from those 2 hours in her yurt. And yeah, the groups that we have been taking there are actually, most people have had amazing experience in there. I think there is something magical in there. But yeah, she's an amazing woman. And yes, so
well, let me say something, because you're an amazing woman, and you need to tell these folks what your expertise is.
Like I it's better that you tell what my
All right.
expertise
How
are.
about this? I'll talk about you, you talk about me.
Yeah.
So Inga has been a guide for over 30 years, and she and her husband founded one of the largest travel agencies in Iceland. And that was many ages ago. And now she, in addition to as a guide, she's also a knitting designer. She has spent a lot of time learning wellness therapies. Like she's as for that were basically like for her own self-care, and that led into getting like a certification in like floatation therapy, for example. And she's just somebody, I think, that she's got a background in ethnology and Icelandic bath with her thesis was on Icelandic bathing culture, and she's written a book on wild edible plants, a wild edible plants cookbook. She's a fantastic storyteller. She knows all the sagas. She can name pretty much every waterfall. There are things that I think that she doesn't know, and then she comes out with some new information. I'm like, why did you tell me that? It's like she has just so much information that it's Inga is a rarity in Iceland. It's to find somebody with such depth knowledge and across so many different disciplines is it's actually it's a true gift. And also, what you will find is that so many people say Inga makes them feel seen. And she has a really great way of just dumping love on people, and people just feel it. And she teaches you ways also that you can protect you'll learn about the golden egg, how you protect your own space, and how you can take care of yourself. And she's Inga is magic. I think Inga is Iceland, actually. Everything about Iceland that's special, Inga emulates that. So I, she is a really great gift to this program.
Thank you, Tara. You did
What
a
are you
good
gonna say
job.
about me, Inga? No,
Well,
it's okay.
Tara is amazing woman. She is someone that is always full of energy. She is like, I mean, I only see her in low energy when she's sick. If she's not sick, she's like, whoo, and she's pouring it out to everyone. And it gives our tours amazing vibe, I can say, and good feel and fun, and yeah, you're fun to be with. And you are also a woman that have done a lot and experienced a lot in your life, and you have this great company that you have founded 17 years ago. That's something.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Inga. Thank you.
yeah. So
Well, now,
we
like, I was going to take a moment to have Ryan, just real quickly, like, we were going to say too, like, what we love about this trip. And I think part of it comes out in what Inga and I are already saying about this program, each other, the people we work with. But Ryan, do you want to share something that's a real, like, that's on your heart or that really resonates with you about the experience?
Um, yes, give me a second to put it all together. I'm going to come back and begin again about talking about both of you because you all make the trip. I mean, I could go back. One way of saying this is I'm never taking a tour with anybody else. Forget it. And oh, by the way, I don't like tours. Um, and I had such a lovely time, and it was just for people who are talking about feeling restored and refreshed. I live in Washington, D.C., so it is not a restful place to be right now. And to go to Iceland and to be with people who understand it's so much more than, getting in a bus and going to see this spot or that spot. No, you're there and they show you where the magic of it is and the beauty and the history and the legacy and the culture. All of these things you can't get in any other way. And you both have so much passion about what you do and you convey it with such enthusiasm and love and it's who can make a bus ride fun. I mean, Tara has the best playlist ever.
yeah.
um so you do crazy things like I also know where the good gas station ice cream is now. Again, a phenomenon. Who wants ice cream in Iceland? But You do. I mean, so there are these really, they're not goofy, but again, what I experienced was we went to several different places, and each place was unique. Each place showed me a different angle of Iceland that I would never get otherwise. So I really, really get the feel of the country, which was important to me. But then the program that they put together again is unique. I mean, um, as I said, I've done a lot of this stuff, but I've never done sound bathing before. And I'm sure I had a good time in those 2 hours, but I have no clue. I just, as sort of a blank. I went to a lovely place and I came back eventually. Um, so you're introduced to whole different ways of thinking and therapies, and it's like a smorgasbord of, well, you can think about doing this or that, but I'll go back and say the planning and the thinking through what will work best for the tour is astounding. And you do feel embraced and enveloped, and you don't have to worry about a thing. All you have to do is show up. And if you show up, you're going to have an amazing time. Um, I really can't say enough positive about it. I don't want to get too over the top, but I can be if you like.
I know it's easy to get over the top. It's one of these very few, like it's my trips tend to be like emotionally empowering, but this one definitely it checks a lot of boxes when it comes to how we feel about a place and the
As I
people
said, it's
around
it's
us.
it's not a tour, it's an experience. And again, I've traveled to over 40 countries, and there are very few places
Mm.
that I can say that about. So
Well,
I
thank
think
you.
Yeah.
Thank
everybody
you.
should go.
Thank you. Well, in case anybody's wondering where Iceland is, it's this little island that's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and it's pretty special because I mean, it's like being in. It could be like if you get a chance to experience all this tiny island, it's like being on 7 different planets. I mean, there's geothermal areas. There's rhyolite rainbow mountains. Dramatic black sand beaches. There's waterfalls and rainbows. If you're allergic to rainbows, Iceland is not the place to go. But you wouldn't think. I mean, I remember when I first was introduced to the thought of organizing groups to Iceland, I thought, what's in Iceland? I can't believe I ever said that. But this little island is actually the top of a mountain ridge called the Mid-Atlantic Ridge that goes through the ocean, and it's the only place at the top of that mountain range that you can see, and it's where scientists are studying continental spreading, continental drift. They're looking at volcanism. There's yeah, so it's and glaciers too. So there's a lot here science wise, and you probably have seen that everybody's going to Iceland. I get FOMO and I'm there all the time. I wonder what people think when I post my pictures. But I mean, Iceland is known for the glaciers, its waterfalls and volcanoes, and a lot of this can be found on the south coast. That's also where crowds are found. And we do I think, a really great job of moving people around on the south coast to try to avoid those crowds or to have special experiences. But I have found that we will have a quieter, more authentic and off the beaten path experience by going to the north. And the north, what that has to offer are these beautiful little hotels that we can do meditation in. They have hot nature spas and hot springs, so we can be immersed in the bathing culture. And then this tour is perfectly timed for a chance to see the aurora borealis and the northern lights. And also we talk about runes and hidden folk. So that's the magic. It's a little bit of, it's healing, magic, and beautiful untouched nature. But I say this in a way that's not to create urgency to sell, but an urgency to go, is that you have to go now. It's changing. And this is one of those beautiful places that we are basically on a beach with nothing around, could eventually be turned into something bigger than what it is. And bigger is not necessarily better. So you go now so you could see it in its true form, in its natural form, while it's quiet. And then there's the magic and mantra of this. I created a journal, and the journal is basically a workbook to help guide you through the experience. And it starts with your intentions and looks at synchronicities. I treat it like a witch's spell book. I want you to like get it dirty. I want you to tuck things in its pages. I want you to write notes in it. I want you to create spells. And it's fun to do that because it's a unique travel journal, because this trip is so we're kind of it's full of witches. That we bring this magic and empower together, and this journal is an evolution of your experience. And then we have you get a box of runes, and Inga will teach us a little bit about runes. Inga, do you want to tell them just in general what are the runes?
Yeah, the runes is the old ways that the Viking used to give messages or write poems in the old days, but they also use the rune for magic. And the runes come from the gods. Odin, he got the runes and gave them out to the world. And we can draw them and talk to them and ask them questions. And they will very often answer our questions, or I find actually they answer my question all the time. So you can pull one rune just for one question, or just for the day, or the now, and then you can also lay down 3 runes or 6 runes or 8 runes, depends on how you want to do it. But yeah, there are different ways to use the runes.
Yeah, I love when we get together and learn about runes and then start practicing with them. Ryan even took her runes on the knitting tour, put them under her pillow, and to see what popped out each night as in the morning, to like as like a
So I keep mine under my pillow, and what happens is when they want to tell me something, so they're in this little tiny bag that is knotted shut, knotted,
Mhm.
tied shut, and then all of a sudden one rune will pop out, and I better pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing that. I love that idea.
That's a good way to do it, Ryan.
And then so many people come onto these tours with their own intentions, their own reasons. And a lot of you have already talked about that. What attracted you to this place? What is your calling? What do you need? And we talk about with mindfulness, it calms our nervous system to allow us to be open to synchronicities, which could lead to which are patterns, which allow us to see maybe learn something. Maybe the universe is trying to tell us something. Maybe there's a loved one trying to tell you something. Maybe, yeah, it's a way for you to just reset so that you can attract the things to you, whether it be physical or spiritual, that will help you right now in the time that you need it. And so each of the tours, each experience is different for everybody, both as the group and as the individual. But we can't talk about this tour without talking about Icelandic bathing culture. And Inga, you're the expert to do that.
Yes, like Tara told you, then I did my BA on the Icelandic bathing culture. So the Vikings, they traveled the world in the old days, and they probably knew the Romans and their bathing cultures. So when they came to this island, they found hot water pouring out almost everywhere, and they started to build pools and bathing facilities that people would come together and meet up after work, or as a leisure. Young people would meet up. It would be like a get-together places, like the disco of its time, can we say? But it was they also found that some of the waters had a healing effects, and they categorized them in different ways, whether it was for rheumatitis or for lungs or different things, skin diseases. And so we have had pools since the Viking came to our country 1100 years, that we are still using, and then we have done even more. And Yes, and we take you to some of these hot springs, pools that natural hot springs or natural or geothermal pools with natural water, and we do different exercise and different healings in those pools.
I have found that no hot water feels like hot water in Iceland. Like I mean, it's heated by the like magma. I mean, come on, that's amazing. Then all the minerals, yeah, the pools there, even the public pools. We will explore various hot springs. See, this is a map of Iceland, and you can see all the red dots basically where we will explore throughout this trip. And it's the northwest to north. So we go basically from Reykjavik to Akureyri and then back again. And what's lovely about this part of Iceland is that it is known for, I mean, this is one of the spas we'll go to, these nature spas next to big fjords, beautiful countrysides. I mean, imagine stepping outside to the crisp, cool air, snow in the mountains, the sun rising on the mountain, and the horses out in the pastures. And it's yeah, it's really good for the soul. We'll pass by beautiful, colorful, like fishing villages. You don't see this kind of stuff on the South Coast because there's no ports on the South Coast. That's not, we'll be traveling around the north and through some of the fjords. And here's a view of one of those big fjords where we stopped to stretch and do a little bit of standing yoga. And then look at this beautiful high impact beach. One thing you will notice is there's no crowds. It's just us. And that in itself is a special luxury. So this trip, we combine hot and cold water with mindfulness. And for a long time, I didn't really know what mindfulness was. Let's be honest. I heard it a lot. I was like, what is mindfulness? And it is about being in the middle of being completely letting go of things and being aware of your surroundings. It's that letting go of stress, being focused on the present moment, grounding and connecting with your surroundings. And like you could do mindfulness exercises where it's like, I see 4 things, I hear 4 things, I touch 4 things, I feel 4 things. And that just makes you focus on your senses. And this will help reduce with your stress reduction and mental clarity. And this is something we should be doing. The practices we'll do throughout the tour are good practices that you can take home to do even in your own home. And some of you may know them, but it's like, if you've ever done anything like you joined a running club or a walking club, if you know some people who have helped get you into a routine, you're more likely to continue that routine at home too. But we start with our mindfulness activities with Svava, and we go to her studio and we sit in. It's her sacred circle, and I think the thing I hear the most, and Inga, you might have something to share about this, is people go, "I can't believe we've known these people for 3 hours and it feels like 5 days." All of a sudden, she knows how to bond a group, to create a safe space. Inga, what are your thoughts about how important this first meeting is for our group?
Well, I think it's always very important when you have a group coming together and you want to spend the next 1 week with total strangers and go inwards and talking about things that are either very valuable to you or touches to you, your deep feelings, that you feel safe and you feel seen and you feel heard. So that's why we start with Svava, because Svava is actually so good in putting this out to clarify all our intentions and how we are going to be working for the rest of the week.
Yeah. And she also teaches you some of those basic skills for like body scanning, noticing where your stress is. One of the things that Svava says that resonates with me all the time, she says, for a long time, I thought my body was just for carrying around my head. And it took me 3 sessions or something to realize what that means. As you start, for my personal journey, it's just at 46, my awareness of like, wow, like my body tells me things when it's stressed. if I have a pain in a certain area, I need to look at that, not just address the pain, but what maybe am I holding stress there? Do I have some personal previous trauma or that's causing that particular stress? And so she actually goes through practical things, and we have some of those exercises in the journal that I provide you. So you could go back and refer back to that. But everyone agrees that this time with Svava is truly a good start and is a wonderful way to bring it. I wish we could take Svava with us throughout this whole tour, but somehow she does travel with us throughout this whole tour because of what she sets up on day one. We also have, in terms of mindfulness, about like 2 days into the program at one of my favorite hotels, we set up morning mindfulness and meditation experiences. So Inga brings her sound bowls. We have guided meditations that some are recorded, some are by us that we share. And one of the things that the participants do say is that they really liked the early morning. You just show up in your pajamas, sit on pillows, and we just meditate together. We do meditation outside, and we find really beautiful locations to do not just like light yoga, but also some energy work. This video here, hopefully it plays. Oh yeah, this video, this Inga's leading some like gentle yoga and stretching on this beautiful beach. Like, isn't this gorgeous? I miss this beach. You know, when you have moving water, it creates negative ions, and those negative ions make you feel good. So this movement is grounding and also connecting you, but also you're in an environment that's rejuvenating you. Inga, do you want to talk a little bit about this heart energy that you're doing here on the beach? Oh, did I lose you? Inga?
I
Oh.
mute myself. Yes.
I got nervous.
Yeah, she left. Well, I think this
Well,
is
what do
one
you
of the
do?
things. Huh?
What explain what the heart and
I
what?
don't think I want to explain it. I just
Oh,
rather want to
okay.
say that this is one of the way to connect and see other people.
Mhm.
And yeah, just come and learn about it.
Okay. I understand that. That's good. Let's see. Let's talk about flotation therapy. One of the people we didn't introduce in that long list is Ólöf. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Ólöf?
Yeah, Ólöf is there with the sunglasses
Yes.
on this photo, and the one that doesn't have these floating hats. And so floating therapy in the water was founded by Unnur, which is an Icelandic woman, and then yeah, it is about doing movements with your therapist in the water, but also just about floating and relaxing in the water. And there is we do a little bit of massage also in the water along with it. And yeah, it's just a very relaxing and grounding technique in the water. And I think water always is so healing. So I don't know, floating is I think it's really nice. Like Ryan said, give me 6 hours in floating therapy. I would love that.
And this water is warm. It looks like it's because it looks like a regular pool. Some people might think you're in like the cold in a cold water pool. It's a warm pool. And what Ólöf is doing on the left is with this participant is she puts the flotation hood on, and also you don't see, it's hard to see below the water, is there's flotations around the legs. And so she has you do some breathing exercises before she gets you kind of like in this cradle position, and like then you float on the surface, and then you get an eye mask to like cover the light, and then she puts a blanket over you, a light blanket, and does some manipulation of your body, which helps release some of the stress that you're like in your spine, and also does, like Inga said, some light massage. And actually I have a video of Inga doing this because, like I said, she has a certification. But look at the snowflakes falling down. This was such a magical experience that I wanted to record it. And you see how she's cradling this person who's basically floating there weightlessly. And when you're in this state, you really do disconnect with everything. And then when you come back to life, that's what it feels like. When you stand up, you have to have a few minutes to like get your bearings. But it's truly a like very relaxing experience.
It's like going back to the womb.
I was gonna
Because your
say
eyes
that.
are covered, you have a blanket, and you're just in this huge, warm, just the same temperature it feels like as you are, and it really, you've gone back to the womb, and why come out again?
Right. Well, and Brian, that's a good segue because here's a picture of you holding a map of the ley lines of Iceland. This is at Sólveig's place where we do sound bathing, and she has lots of stories, and one of them is about a hidden woman who lives on her property, and I'll let her tell that story when you meet her. But I believe this is the reason why Iceland feels so good. There are these energy lines that hidden folk follow, but also it's their healing energies. And one of those places that we will be right on the energy line is at the yurt at Sólveig's yurt. And before you go into her yurt, she does a sage cleansing, and before you go in, and then when you walk in, the energy in this yurt is clean and fresh and light and cool. And you lay down on a mat and get yourself actually sit on a mat first and do a little bit of meditation and grounding, and then you lay down on the mat, and she gives you stones to help ground you even more. And then she plays then she uses sound bowls and other instruments, and it feels hypnotic, and everybody's experience is completely different. There are times during that experience that I've done this several times. So one of them, I felt like I was out of my body. Like I just came out of my body. There was once I was envisioning like volcanoes and lava, and I was like really deep in the earth in Iceland. But it turns out there was a there was a bulldozer outside. Aha, not funny. But I still had this like magical experience. Inga, what about you? What is there anything you recall specifically about your experience in the yurt?
Oh, yeah, I always have a different experience when I go to that yurt. But I remember 2 years ago, then, or maybe it was, probably it was March last year with Ryan. Yeah, I was having a really bad backache, like around my kidneys, and yeah, there was something that as I was laying there was some voice that said to me, put the stone under your back. And I did it, and I was laying on the stones. And when Sólveig was playing one of her gong, I think it was the gong with a very deep sound, I felt like a vibration going through the floor and up through the stone, shooting through those through that area that was really painful. And when I came out of there, I did not have any pain, and I haven't felt any pain there ever since. So I don't know what it was. But it was like a voice. It was like a voice in my head that said, "Do this," and then I had this strange vibration through there. And I'm sure it was some kind of healing energy that was helping me.
One of the there is you see the next to Sólveig on the picture on the left, there's a picture. That's the hidden woman who there in Iceland, there are people who speak to the hidden folk. And this woman who was speaking, who like came to Sólveig's property and said, "You have this woman here. What is her name? Mora?"
Mora?
Yeah, Mora. And Mora told her story. And one of her stories was that her husband had died, and she likes being at this yurt when Sólveig has people there because she and her children dance in there, and there's a lot of good energy. And one of the women last year was, she's a widow, her husband had died just recently. One of her visions was Mora came to her and they were in a tree together, I think, and they were talking about their husbands and connecting that way. And so I just thought that was really, really beautiful that she had that, that special connection. So it's the magic, the stuff that's intangible that you don't just really write about in a brochure.
Everyone thinks you are crazy when you say this.
I know, but not this group. We can talk about this stuff. And then afterwards, we hang out at we go into Sólveig's kitchen. She makes like a vegetarian chili. We have, homemade bread and just, socialize together. And it's just nice to come together in her home, which is also very warm and welcoming.
She had a great dog.
Yeah, she's a great dog. So let's talk about the hot water, cold water experience. This picture is me in November of 23. And Inga's taking me out for my first cold water swim. And you see how far ahead she is? It's like, I was nervous, and it's normal to be nervous for this. And I love this picture too, because it's a gradient of people who are like, I'm excited and I'm nervous, but it feels like a true accomplishment. And Inga doesn't just take you to the ocean and tell you to jump in. She goes through a whole breathing ritual, teaches you, it's part of the mindfulness process, right? And then also teaches you how to breathe, and then gradually we sit in hot water first. You get nice and hot in these nature spas. And then she eventually, you go out about knee deep, and this is a chance to practice your breathing, and you'll, and then you just kind of you go down as far as you want, and you see where people are put their hands right near their heart there. Inga, why do you have people put their hands near their heart?
Well, I think it's easier if you don't put your hands into the water. So it's just reminds you to keep them above, and most people don't go higher than your neck. So if you keep your hands like that, you keep them above the water. And it doesn't feel as cold if you keep your hands out of the water.
And you'll see that some of these people are wearing, some people bring a neoprene hood. We put it on the packing list. You don't have to. If you don't plan on actually swimming, you don't need a neoprene hood. Inga is in the water a long time with people trying to help them, so she's got her hood on. But we do recommend gloves, neoprene gloves, and neoprene booties, because your fingers and your toes are the things that are going to get cold the fastest. And you can get those things, on Amazon for like $20. It's a nice addition for this. But again, like we said, we start off in hot water. This is Kramsvik Nature Spa, and there's 8 different pools there, to different hot springs at different temperatures to sit in. And when the tide is low, or the tide is high, there's only 7, because one is near the ocean. But from here, this is one of our good places to practice what it's like to do your first ocean experience. This is the North Atlantic. This isn't the Arctic Ocean. You see, you're looking out to the horizon, you're trying to relax. Inga always says, relax your shoulders, and you breathe. And
I also say breathe.
Breathe.
Do some deep breathing.
You do deep breathing. Yes. Keep breathing. And you can see that, like Ashley on the right's getting a little cold, but eventually
watch those shoulders.
Oh, did they already go in there? Answer. Oh, I think they're turning around. Here we go. All right. See, there you go. There's Amy doing hers. And, this is just the first time. And eventually, but I can tell you, Ashley did go into the Arctic Ocean. So this is probably day 2 of their experience. And with a little bit of time and practice, we will go to other cold pools to work on this before you do the main event, which is a Höganäs. And this is one of my favorite places on earth. Can you see why? I mean, you've got a row of hot tubs. Like, this is just a little town. These are local hot tubs. And I love this boat that is a hot tub that's looking out over this beach, this shallow beach and these snowy mountains. And we practice first by getting nice and hot in the hot tub. And they're all different temperatures. So you get nice and hot in the hot tub. And then eventually you do, eventually work your way out into the Arctic Ocean. And here's, an example of Inga helping people get down into the water at different stages. Deep breaths. But the benefits of going from the hot water to the cold water is that it's like doing exercise without physical exercise. It's opening and closing your capillaries and your vascular system. So it's actually good for you. And then there's just this level of success when it's all done. I mean, look at this, high fives. People feel so proud for having gone into the Arctic Ocean. And some people just can't stop. It becomes addicting, where people will actually start like swimming. Inga's had to tell one lady, or a few ladies, like, don't swim too far, stay close, because you feel so good. And some people continue to do this practice when they go back home. So we have other things that we do on this tour that there's just, those are the main things, but just a quick highlights. We do a tour of a local brewery, and we, sample the different beers. They also have a non-alcoholic beer. We go to a beer spa where you soak in hops, and you could drink beer from the tap that's right next to where you're soaking in the hot tub. We will have a chance to go into different saunas, and on the right, it's the only picture I have of a sauna, because who takes their camera into a sauna, right? But we do infrared saunas, and you're going to learn about the benefits of red light therapy for inflammation and autoimmune issues. And you'll want I always tell my partner, it's like, can I get an infrared sauna? We're always adding ways that we try to figure out ways that I can get an infrared sauna. But there's we'll experience steam saunas and dry saunas too. And we go to the Museum of Prophecies, where you're going to learn about a local witch, or a lady who is thought to be a witch who lived in the area. And you'll learn about different ways that they can tell your fortune. They'll do a mini rune reading here, and you will also see some different type of artifacts and ways that people use the old ways to tell the future. And here are the details. So this is in general here. You can find a lot of this on the website. All the meals, people love the food in Iceland. There's a misconception, at least I'll tell you what my initial one was, that I was going to be going to Iceland eating like putrid shark and whale meat. I thought that's what Iceland's food was so many years ago. But no, Iceland has fresh vegetables, fresh seafood, lamb, those are the main things that you're like, that are fresh there. They have greenhouses that grow vegetables, and you'll find that at restaurants everything is prepared in such a way that the presentation is fantastic, and the food is nutrient rich. The meals on this tour, all breakfasts are included. I think there's one lunch, without me looking at it right now, one or two lunches. And then there's one dinner that's included, but the rest is not. And the reason that is because it's so easy for you to just order off a menu and get what you want at any restaurant. And then you walk up to the register with your credit card, you pay for what you ordered. When you do group menus, you have to budget pretty much for the highest meal. And there are some people who just want soup that day instead of the lamb chops, for example. This gives you more flexibility. Our participants love it. Our transportation is in passenger vehicles. So depending on the size of the group, they vary. Some have individual seats, some have bench seats. So, but everyone's been very comfortable in our transportation. We do have limited room for personal things. So you need to follow the packing list closely. Don't overpack. And our lodging is simple, but clean. And we stay in some pretty unique places. One of the places we stay at is on a fjord out in the middle of nature, so that there's a good chance so you could be outside and see the auroras without light pollution. We stay in Siglufjordur, and notice there's a hot tub here right on the bay. And this hotel has infrared sauna too. How do you get to Iceland? There's lots of ways to get to Reykjavik. You fly actually to Keflavik International Airport, and that's about 45 minutes from Reykjavik. And then once a trip is confirmed, we will send out travel parameters so that you can plan your trip. But in general, during the winter, Iceland Air is your best, most direct flight. So if you live in some place that doesn't have Iceland Air, you can look and see if you can. A lot of times, like American Airlines will partner with Iceland Air from I'm trying to think of a small airport to a main hub like JFK, Boston, Seattle, O'Hare. And then from those hubs, it's about 6 hours to get to Keflavik. And we'll be at the airport to pick you up on the start of this tour. And then the adventure starts. What to pack? So it's always better to pack in layers than it is to pack a bunch of heavy, like a ski jacket or ski pants. And so we always say, like, so you don't have to go out and buy a down parka. You could have a rain jacket and rain pants, and then layer it with like a puffy jacket, merino wool base layer. You could buy a souvenir wool shirt, a wool sweater in Iceland, and wear that as your layer too. And hats and gloves. You'll want those. What are those things called? Those hot hands, so that you keep those in your pockets in case your fingers get cold. But we're outside. We're not out for long durations, and there's always a warm vehicle nearby if you needed to get warm. Mainly just comfortable clothes for a variety of activities, from morning yoga to easy walks to coming back and actually I was thinking to then maybe going to a pool or a hot spring, and then you need your bathing suit and your neoprene stuff to do that. Hiking boots are best because they'll help you with good traction, merino wool or smart wool socks, and then having some indoor shoes because you don't want to wear your boots from the outside inside the hotels. And the gear or equipment that you would need is minimal in terms of like yak tracks. Those are like ice grippers. You could get them for like 15 or 20 bucks from, again, Amazon. It's just, it could be icy in the, like where we're walking, and this gives you extra traction. The neoprene gloves, boots, or hood that we talked about for the ocean swimming. And if you want extra, just to help with if you have balance issues or just want extra stability, a pair of trekking poles. And we also have trekking poles that we could lend to you, so don't feel like you have to go out and buy them. So then the question is, how do you sign up? And you just go to greenadventures.com. See if I'm not sure that you see here. You go to greenadventures.com and you can check out our beautiful website and sign up there. It has all the details about what's included, what isn't. And of course, if you have any questions about the tour, you can ask me specifically. We've also got some more bios of the people who are on this trip. Like here's Ólöf's bio and Sólveig's bio, and some more pictures to see. And then also we've included a few testimonials at the bottom from Anne and Nancy, who've been on trips before too. Okay. So any questions? Did I see it? Were there any in the chats? I think we covered everything. Now's your chance if anybody has any questions.
I think it's just overwhelming to me. Like, what do I order? Where do I get it from? Like, can I get it from Amazon?
Yes.
Okay.
You can get everything from Amazon. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I think once a trip is confirmed, December 15th is our cutoff. Okay, so once the trip is confirmed, you're going to see the packing list. And then if you have any specific questions from that point, let's talk. You can
also go on a site called Sierra Trading Post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are discount. So, she mentioned the merino wool kind of undershirt. You can get them for $24. I swear by them. They're so easy. They're so lightweight. But virtually everything you're looking for is there. And if you can't get it there, you can also get it from REI, and you can get it from Amazon.
Okay,
or a secondhand store.
You really, it's
Yeah, or you go to
For
secondhand
the
stores as
person
well.
in South Carolina, it might be a little bit more, but for anybody, I live in Washington, D.C. I had most of this stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
There is, in terms of the outerwear, like the main, and Inga, you could always share this, but for me, what I feel is most important for any activity in Iceland is at least one merino wool base layer long sleeve shirt and one long like underwear leggings. Okay, long merino wool leggings, and then anything you put on top of those is just added, insulation, because Iceland is going to feel more damp than cold. Like there could be a dry
Yeah.
cold, but the dampness is what could make you feel cold out in the outdoors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Then on top of that, like whatever layers you have in the middle, and then to keep the wind from going through, or if it's raining, that's the most versatile thing, is to have a pair of rain pants, which you can get for like $50. You can get
Okay.
it even cheaper. And then also a rain jacket, which if you think about going on any other adventures, a good rain jacket will help you no matter where you go. Okay. So
Okay.
those two things on top, like to be on the outside, like the wind layer and water layer of your other clothes will work. And like I have a pair of fleece leggings that I love. So on a day-to-day basis, I might only, and Inga, I always hear Inga's voice in my head because she says I pack too much, and I work really hard not to pack too much. But like my outfit there would be a pair of fleece leggings, a pair of merino wool socks, and I have I wear a merino wool tank top that I got from Merino Tech on Amazon for $30. And then I wear a long sleeve merino wool shirt, which I also bought on Amazon for like $45. And then I have I like might wear like a fleece jacket over that, or it depends on, if I'm inside, I'm just at my base layer. So my merino wool top is not a long underwear shirt. Like it's a shirt that could be worn by itself, or it could be worn under something. Okay. Because I think when you think of long underwear and you go skiing, you don't want to walk around in the bar in long underwear, right? So you got to think about stuff that you'd be okay wearing on the out.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I have if I want to layer up, I have like a fleece jacket and like a lightweight puffy jacket and my rain jacket.
Okay.
And I could have for a week program, you don't need any more than I would say, because I hear Inga counting, I would say no more than 3 real outfits, because you will mix and match them. And let's be honest, there's gonna be 1 or 2 pairs that you really love, that you're comfortable in, and you can wear that the whole time if you want. We don't have to wear a new outfit every day. It is very casual and comfortable, but you don't need to bring a pair of pants every day. And you don't have to have like a bunch of snow gear for this tour. Okay.
Okay.
So
How close are we to filling the slots for everybody?
Well, there are 3 right now. 3 people signed up, so we need 5 more. So
Okay.
it's not impossible. It's typical.
Okay, good. Because
Yeah,
now
keep
I'm
sharing.
really excited after hearing everybody talk about it.
Well,
But
I know
is
some people
isn't
want
it
to go by themselves, but it really does help if you share it with others in your network.
Yeah.
Because all it takes is, if there's 3 people and each one, adds 1 person,
Yeah.
you put 6, 6 there, and then there's other people, who are just even still considering it. We can have our 8 pretty quickly, and the sooner we get the 8, the sooner we go from dreaming to planning.
Yeah. Okay.
Joan, do you have a question?
Yes, I just wondered if there's any special visa requirement. I know Europe is changing the way they do things with biometric, whatever. And I just wondered if Iceland has changed in any way. I don't know.
Not yet. There is talk of doing, like when Europeans come to the United States, they have to fill out an ESTA form. Is that what's called, Inga? It's ESTA, right? You have to fill out it's like you basically pay $15 or something and fill out your form, and then that's what you need to come to. They need to come to the United States. If that, there's a chance that could be reciprocated going that way. It hasn't been released yet. Inga, have you heard anything about it? They've been talking about it for a year.
No, but I know they are taking up a new system at the airports in Europe in general, and in Iceland too, where they are bioscanning. It means that they take like a face recognition photo when you
Yeah.
go through the costume.
Yeah.
And they
you
do
can
that now in
reference-
the United States too.
Yeah,
But yes,
when you come home
they,
to the United States.
they
yeah.
do that in Iceland now.
Yes,
Mm,
I
which you
think
just
they
went-
have started to do that everywhere now
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
in
okay.
Europe.
Okay. But I wouldn't be intimidated by it.
Okay.
Okay.
No special visa that you have to, get in
No,
advance. That's what I, okay.
no.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can come and you can stay for 180 days.
Wow.
No, you can only
Wow.
stay for 90 days.
Well, 90 days, and then you can apply for 90 more days.
I love it.
That's great.
Any
You
other
do
questions?
need to make sure your passport doesn't expire within the next 6 months.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
But
it's up to
Yeah.
date.
That's-
Actually, it is actually 3 months. I put it on my paperwork that says 6, but I give myself my own buffer. It's 3 months for Iceland, 6 months for the Schengen. So people can go to Iceland within 3 months.
Oh.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's assuming we reopen the government.
Well, I think that if the government's still closed by the time this trip is on and you need to your passport's expiring within 6 months, you're golden at 3. Good. Any other questions?
I wanted to just say, this trip sounds ideal. I have bad knees.
Mhm.
I have my left knee is bone on bone. I just got a cortisone shot. I have no intention at this point of getting a new knee. I'm
Mhm.
gonna milk it, and I do my PT. I still bike and walk and blah blah blah. And I'm gonna be, I guess every 3 months I can get a cortisone shot, blah blah blah. But I'm fine. So do you have any, issues with? I mean, hey, is the Arctic hot cold gonna generate some cartilage for me? I'm 66. I'll be 66 years old.
Oh,
Miracles
wow.
could happen in Iceland, but I don't think it's going to generate any cartilage for you. But this is a really good tour. It's not high impact. There's not long walks. It's light exercise. I
Yeah.
think that people want it. We find that if there are people who want more, we find ways to give them more. But the baseline of this trip is pretty easy. I think that and Inga can jump in on this, is for me, I think the only things that I see as hazards are, slipping. But you grew up in a colder environment. And also some uneven terrain, but just being mindful about where you're stepping and going slow. But there's not long walks or hikes.
Okay.
Inga,
Okay. All right.
do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, it says it.
Any others? Well, good. Well, thank you so much for coming and letting us talk a little longer. It's 6:30, so we went a little longer than
Or it's way past Inga's bedtime.
Yes,
It is.
but I wanted to. I like the slow start and the chance to get to know you and to hear what brought you here and what connected you to this. And I hope that there's plenty of people who will get this recording and will watch it and will also connect and want to sign up on this tour. I guarantee you will love it. I don't make very many guarantees. I've been afraid to ever do that when it comes to these trips, but the Iceland will not disappoint. Inga and I are a great team together. And one of the things that are when you look at our reviews, people say they feel cared about, they feel tours are well organized, they feel like when things change or plans change, the trip leaders are able to pivot and give you, and it feels seamless. The participants don't even know that that's happening. That's the same thing that happens on this trip in Iceland. It's a universal characteristic. These are universal characteristics of all of our tours. So with that combination and beautiful Iceland, and you coming with, looking for magic and restoration and healing, it'll
Let me just add one other thing, because I think this is also a testimonial to both Inga and Tara. But on the knitting trip, one person had been on the knitting trip 3 times. Someone else had been on trips with Tara 10 times.
Oh my.
On the wellness tour, somebody had been on a trip the previous summer. The fact that so many people are what I call returnees. You don't get that, 10 times. No, you should adopt this person. You know, but that to me, again, it's a testament to the caring and the just the planning and the commitment and the passion. It's all there, and so it makes for a very exciting and lovely experience.
Ah, thanks,
So
Ryan. That's a really great
if
way
they're
to.
Thank
5
you, Ryan.
stars, you get 12. You know?
Thanks, Ryan. Well, thank you all. And I'll stick around if any of you, have more questions, but you know how to reach me, tara@greenadventures.com. And if you want to talk, otherwise, hopefully I'll see Inga and I, whenever somebody books, we dance. I just want to
Yes, we have our booking dance.
because it just feels so good. It's so like they like us. They really like us. And so I send her a video. I'm like, I'm dancing. So hopefully we'll have a reason to dance. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.